Unexpected accent exposed. A billionaire's shock after this black waitress spoke perfect Chinese. Mia stood behind the counter of the bustling Chinese restaurant, her heart racing as she wiped the tables in a blur of white and red cloth. The aroma of sizzling garlic and soy sauce wafted through the air, but it wasn't just the food that made the place special. It was her. As a single mother, every minute counted. She had a dream to chase, becoming a linguist one day, but for now, it was all about providing for her 10-year-old son, Jaden. Every dollar she earned went into his schooling, into his future. One night, the bell above the door jingled, and in walked Jack, a billionaire with a reputation for philanthropy. Clad in an expensive suit, he looked entirely out of place in the modest eatery. He wanted something authentic, a taste of real life beyond his gilded cage. Jack sat down, scanning the menu that seemed far more complex than he anticipated, and ordered his meal with a casual confidence that readers of tabloids would rarely associate with a billionaire. Mia approached his table. Her movements were deliberate, graceful. Her smile was warm, but underneath, she felt that familiar twist of insecurity. He gazed at her, his curiosity evident. But it was the moment he heard her speaking fluently in Chinese with the other patrons that left him spellbound. Her voice was a melody, each word dripping with grace and command. In an instant, the newspaper would record it as a shock, the modest waitress with stunning linguistic ability. Intrigued, Jack returned the next evening, and the one after that. Each time, it wasn't just the food that drew him in, it was Mia. She caught him off guard with stories of difficulty, cloaked as dreams. Underneath her humor was an unmistakable resilience, a light that flickered defiantly against the harshness of their world. But with the blossoming friendship came invisible burdens. Mia's emotional stitches were fraying as life's demands piled higher. Jaden fell ill, a fever that made Mia's world shatter into a million pieces. Her heart raced with panic, her fears coiling deep inside her. Jaden wasn't just her son, he was her hope. Crowds that once failed to notice her began to stir. The community rallied. Neighbors organized bake sales, sharing meals, and even raising funds. Mia's known struggles echoed loudly, and she found herself standing at the center of their support. Jack, feeling the ripples of their unity, watched in humility as he realized his privilege didn't equate to understand struggle. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Why shouldn't I speak up for Mia? He thought. In that moment, a decision crystallized within him like new glass. The barriers they faced in society were real and deep. Yet now, as Mia stood to speak her truth, with her community at her side, Jack faced a choice. Would he uplift her voice or let it fade? The tension gripped the room as they awaited what would unfold next. Would Mia finally have the chance she deserved? Could Jack be brave enough to tear down the walls of perception and privilege? Hope hung in the air, a bond formed in adversity, and readers could almost feel the crackle of possibility as they turned the page, eager for what was to come. Jack clasped his hands together, feeling the pressure build in his chest as he watched Mia prepare to address the gathered crowd. The restaurant, once filled solely with the sounds of clinking dishes and chatter, now buzzed with anticipation. It was no longer just another evening at the restaurant. It was a defining moment. Mia took a deep breath, her eyes scanning the sea of familiar faces. Each one was a testament to her community, her family, those who had rallied around her, and Jaden in the darkest of times. But inside, she felt a storm brewing. Would her words be enough? Would they resonate? As she stood there, everything faded away, and all she could think about was Jaden, his frail body lying in bed, the warmth of his feverish forehead against her palm, the way his laughter had once filled their tiny apartment. She needed to be strong, not just for him, but for every person who fought their own battles. Thank you all for being here tonight, she began, her voice steady, though her heart raced. I never thought I'd be in front of you, sharing my story. For so long, I've lived in the shadows, afraid of what the world would think. But fear can't define me anymore. A soft murmur rippled through the crowd, and Jack felt every gaze draw closer. He could almost taste the anticipation in the air. Mia continued, her passion igniting as she spoke of struggle and resilience. She talked about the nights spent studying while Jaden slept, her dreams flickering like a candle barely staying lit in a storm. She shared her silent prayers, her hopes for a better future, not only for herself but for every child in her community. With each word, the warmth of her spirit wrapped around those listening, creating an invisible bond. Tears shone in the eyes of her neighbors. They felt her pain as if it were their own. They remembered moments of desperation, times when they had to fight for something, anything, to keep hope alive. Jack watched in awe. He had entered this world seeking authenticity, but found a beacon of strength instead. He understood now that Mia wasn't just a waitress. She was a warrior, embodying the spirit of her community. Inspiration washed over him, igniting a flame within, a desire to as Mia finished her speech. The room broke into a wave of applause, echoes of support washing over her like a tidal wave. "Thank you, Mia," someone shouted, their voice filled with admiration. But amid the chaos of applause, Mia could see Jack, his expression transformed. He looked moved, vulnerable, and a flicker of determination sparked in his eyes. She felt it, he was ready to put his privilege to work. "Together, we can make a difference," Jack called out, stepping forward, his voice resonating with conviction. "I want to help make Mia's dreams a reality." Gasps filled the room, and Mia's heart burst with a mix of hope and trepidation. Could this actually be happening? Was he really willing to fight societal constructs with her? As attendees gathered closer to discuss what they could do, the weight of the moment settled heavily in their hearts. What would it mean for both Jack and Mia on this journey? The night stretched on, filled with plans and ideas, but as the crowd dispersed, uncertainty loomed like a thick fog. Could they turn possibility into progress? Could they truly change their world together? Feeling the weight of their burgeoning alliance, Mia realized they were standing on a precipice an uncertain future lay ahead. Would their connection withstand the trials to come? With thoughts spinning and emotions bubbling, Mia took a deep breath. The answer was still out there, waiting to be discovered. Would they be brave enough to leap? The question lingered in the air, signaling that this was only the beginning. The next morning arrived with a wash of sunlight spilling through Mia's kitchen window. As she sipped her coffee, the warm steam wrapped around her like a comforting hug. Her mind, however, was a whirlwind. Thoughts of last night's speech replayed in her head. The applause, the hope, the unexpected partnership with Jack. It felt surreal. But the heaviness of reality soon returned. Jaden needed care, and bills still stacked on the table. She could feel the weight of her responsibilities pressing down hard. The phone rang, cutting through her thoughts. Her heart raced as she grabbed it, hoping it was good news about Jaden. "Hey, Mia, it's Jack." His voice crackled through the line, bringing with it a mixture of excitement and worry. "I know it's early, but I can't stop thinking about everything we discussed yesterday." Mia's breath caught. "What's on your mind?" "I've talked to a few folks, and I really believe we can create a fundraising event. It could be big, something that brings the community together in support of Jaden and others like him." His enthusiasm was infectious, spreading warmth through Mia's chest. "What do you mean by big?" she asked cautiously, a part of her still wary of dreams getting dashed. "Like, possibly a dinner gala. We could invite some local businesses and community leaders," he exclaimed. "Show them how powerful this can be. And maybe we can draw in some media attention. Highlight your story." Mia closed her eyes, imagining that night. The tables set elegantly, laughter, and shared stories echoing around the room. But then doubt crept in. "But Jack, what if it fails? What if we raise nothing? I can't take that risk." "Mia," he interrupted gently, "this is bigger than just a fundraiser. It's about raising awareness. You've already done that with your speech. Your words touched so many. It stirred something in them." She could already picture the hesitant but hopeful faces from the restaurant last night. Slowly, Mia began to believe. "Let us meet later today. We can start planning together," Jack suggested. This could truly change lives. Her heart pounded. It felt exhilarating yet terrifying. But reluctantly, she could see a glimmer of possibility shining through the doubt. "Okay, let us do it," Mia breathed, feeling a surge of determination take hold. Let us make it happen. As they hung up, she felt nervous energy surge through her veins. The responsibilities of her daily life still loomed over her, but at that moment, hope flickered for a brighter future. Later that afternoon, as Mia prepared for her first planning meeting with Jack, she also pulled out some old photos of Jaden. Pictures of him laughing, playing, and being the vibrant child she wanted to see back in her life. The truth settled in her heart fiercely. This wasn't just about fundraising. It was about fighting for Jaden's future. Jack arrived a little later, knocking forcefully at her door. His grin widened when he stepped inside, armed with papers and ideas. All right, we have a lot to cover. Mia nodded intently. They began brainstorming, jotting down names of potential sponsors, venues, and possible entertainment options. The excitement in the room was palpable, and slowly it pushed away the shadows of doubt. Hours slipped by unnoticed, filled with hopes and plans, until a slide across the table pulled Mia back to the moment. Jack slid forward an article titled Community Gala, a Night for Change. Look at this, he insisted, eyes shining. We can leverage social media and create awareness about the event right away. But as Mia scanned the article, everything turned cold. A name caught her attention, a name she hadn't expected to see. A prominent billionaire and his charitable side. Why is he involved in community events? She wondered aloud, her heart racing again. Does he even care about people like us? Jack's brows furrowed. I think he does. But what if we can get him to support our gala? Imagine what that could do. Mia's heart pulsed with a strange mix of attraction and apprehension toward the name. This was about to get complicated, and she couldn't quite wrap her mind around it. Jack leaned forward, sensing her hesitation. What are you thinking? She pursed her lips, weighing her next words carefully. If we reach out to him, there's a lot at stake. What if it opens a door? Jack pressed. Mia's chest tightened. What if? But Jessica had always taught her that dreams could be tangled with consequences. And this time, the stakes felt higher than ever. Could she trust this stranger in a suit to understand her world? The question lingered in her mind, and as Jack excitedly discussed their next steps, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that a leap into the unknown was about to change everything for better or worse. Would they dare to step into a realm filled with potential, even if it meant dancing dangerously close to the edge? Mia felt a wave of uncertainty washing over her as the excitement in Jack's voice echoed in her ears. The visions of the gala began to blend with her apprehensions about reaching out to the billionaire. She glanced at the article again, trying to dissect the implications of such a connection. Did he really understand the struggles they faced, or would they just become another project on his to-do list? Jack, we need to be careful, she finally said, her voice steadying as she put the article down. I mean, reaching out to him might change the whole dynamic. What if he doesn't resonate with our mission? Jack leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. But what if he does? This could be our chance to really make a difference, Mia. If he sees the potential impact, he might surprise us. Their eyes locked in what felt like a silent debate. Mia wanted to believe him. She longed for the chance to lift Jaden, to give him the life he so deserved. But could she place that hope in someone she didn't know? The weight of Jack's proposal hung in the air, twisting her stomach into knots. She sighed, organizing her thoughts and trying to define the fear bubbling up inside. I just don't want to risk everything on a maybe. What if it blows up in our faces? Jack unfolded his arms, softening his gaze a little. I get that. But what if it leads us somewhere incredible? A larger community approach could rally more support. Wouldn't that be worth the risk? Mia nodded slightly, feeling a flicker of her earlier conviction. Deep down, she wanted this, she wanted to believe. Okay, let us at least draft a proposal. If we can capture his interest, maybe he'd be willing to meet to hear more. Exactly. Jack grinned, and the tension shifted. They gathered their papers again, the spark of creativity igniting in the room. As they worked, Mia started picturing the gala not just as a fundraiser, but a celebration of resilience, a night where stories could be shared, connections could be made, and lives could be changed forever. The thought fueled her enthusiasm. How about we create an emotional video clip that tells Jaden's story? She suggested. We can showcase his journey, his struggles, the real impact of support. Yes, and we could use social media to gather community stories. It would really show the heart of our mission, Jack added, his excitement infectious. Hours passed in a flurry of ideas, laughter, and the common pulse of hope. They mapped out a plan, saturating it with heart and ambition. With each edition, Mia felt lighter, more certain that they could forge ahead together. When they finally wrapped up for the night, the moon hung high, casting soft beams through the window. As her energy waned, Mia felt a sense of accomplishment. For the first time in so long, the burdens felt lighter. She knew tomorrow they would tackle contacting the billionaire, a leap into uncertainty. But for something worth fighting for, maybe that leap was exactly what they needed. Mia stood, looking out the window into the night. "Jack, are you sure we're ready for this?" "Absolutely," he replied, a smile stretching across his face. "And no matter what happens, we're doing this for Jaden. We'll support him together." Mia's heart swelled. Together. It felt comforting, freeing. But as the night deepened, another thought gripped her. Doubt clawed at the edges again. Would the billionaire truly care? Would he connect with their struggle, or would he dismiss them as just another narrative? The anticipation was almost too much. She reached for her phone, scrolling aimlessly, but she needed to focus. Taking a deep breath, she closed her eyes. Could she really step into this unknown world? She opened them to face Jack, who had already shifted his attention back to the proposal. "Okay, let us get our story ready," she said, fighting back her anxieties. But as they began drafting, Mia thought of how could one person's approval change everything. The right word at the right moment could transform their hopes, even spark something unexpected. Or it could all fall apart, that I in this swirling maze of possibility. The question loomed large. What if Jack was right, and this billionaire held just the key they needed? But would they be ready for the doors he could open? Only tomorrow would tell. The following morning arrived with a bitter chill in the air that sent shivers down Mia's spine. She threw on her favorite sweater, hoping it would shield her from the dread that slowly seeped in with the dawn. Today was the day. Today, they would reach out to the billionaire, a man who could change everything. Yet, with each tick of the clock, her nerves twisted tighter. Jack buzzed with energy, glancing at the clock every few minutes as they prepared to meet at the coffee shop down the street. "We need to get our proposal bright and ready for the email, Mia?" he urged, enthusiasm spilling into his words. "Right, it's just—" Mia paused, biting her lip. What if he doesn't even read it? What if we're wasting our time? Then we dust ourselves off and keep moving, he replied, his confidence unwavering. But we can't let fear dictate our choices. Jaden deserves our best effort. With his words echoing in her head, they grabbed their laptops and made their way through the brisk morning, the air pulling together her scattered thoughts. Upon arriving at the coffee shop, the rich aroma enveloped her, providing comfort against her anxiety. They found a cozy corner, the gentle hum of conversation surrounding them. Jack opened his laptop. "Let us start with an emotional hook for the proposal. Something that'll make him pay attention." Mia took a deep breath, centering herself. "Okay, we should begin with a brief story about Jaden. Talk about his heart condition, his love for art, and how he found joy despite his struggles." Jack nodded, typing furiously as Mia dictated. The words came flowing out, painting a picture of hope and resilience. She felt a flicker of determination rise within her, but as Jack crafted the email, Mia's attention waned. Her gaze drifted out the window where people hurried past, their lives full of unknowns and dreams. Would her story be among them? Would it resonate with a stranger who lived in a world she barely understood? Perfect. Now for the closing. Jack interrupted her thoughts, breaking her reverie. "We should invite him to the gala. Maybe even offer him a moment on stage to speak to the crowd. That'll give him a chance to truly connect." The idea made Mia's heart race, but with it came a question. What if he doesn't want to engage, Jack? What if the idea of an invitation overwhelms him? Mia, that's the risk, right? But imagine if he does say yes. Imagine the impact he could have. The fire in Jack's eyes sparked something deep within her. They finalized the email, each line solidifying their commitment. With trembling hands, Mia pressed send, the action echoing in her mind far louder than the clicking of the keys. This leap felt almost surreal. As they sat there, the reality of their decision settled. But there was no going back now. They had put their hopes on a threadbare line, hung out to dry in the harsh winds of possibility. Mia leaned back in her chair, her heart fluttering with trepidation. During their wait, she glanced around the cafe, observing laughter and warmth, the normalcy of life that felt distant to her. The minutes crawled by, each one laden with anxiety that wrapped around her like a vice. "Jack, what if he doesn't respond?" She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jack didn't hesitate. "Then we keep pushing forward. This is about more than just one person. It's about a community, a future for Jaden and others like him." Just as Mia absorbed his words, a vibration buzzed through the table. They both froze, eyes snapping to Jack's laptop. He opened his inbox, and they gasped in unison as a new email flashed on the screen. Heart pounding, Mia lived through that moment. Was this the turning point? Or just another dose of reality? As Jack clicked the message open, the air thickened with expectation. "Here we go," he murmured, and Mia held her breath, bracing for whatever came next. Would this be the breakthrough they needed, or a moment that would leave them searching once again? Only one way to find out. The email opened, and Mia's heart raced faster than ever. Jack scanned the message quickly, his brows furrowing as he read. Mia leaned in closer, desperate to catch even a glimpse of the words that might change everything. "Okay, it's from him," Jack exclaimed, surprise coloring his voice. Mia's pulse quickened even more at his reaction. "What does it say?" she urged, her breath hitching in her throat. Jack's eyes widened, and he smiled. "He's interested. He wants to meet with us today." "Today?" The word tumbled from her lips in disbelief. "Like right now?" Jack nodded vigorously, unable to contain his excitement. "He's free in an hour. He said he likes our vision for the gala, and he wants to hear more." The overwhelming rush of emotions left Mia giddy and breathless. Today had been a routine start, but now, it was spiraling into the unexpected. "What do we do?" she asked, biting her lip. "We prepare." Jack's resolve was contagious. "We can't just wing it. We need to get our ideas straight, think on our feet." "But this is huge, Mia. This could change everything." Stress knotted in her stomach, but alongside it stirred a fierce excitement. What if this was really the moment they had been waiting for? "Okay," she said, nodding. "Let us brainstorm. We need to nail our pitch." They quickly jotted down the main points they wanted to touch on. Jaden's journey, the potential of the gala as a community beacon, and the personal investment they hoped the billionaire would feel. The cafe around them buzzed, but Mia felt isolated in the wonder of the moment. They could be talking to someone who held the power to make a dream reality for Jaden and so many others like him. After a flurry of ideas, they collected themselves and headed outside. The chill in the air no longer felt biting. It was electric. Each step toward the meeting venue felt momentous, as if the ground beneath them had shifted into something more profound. As they approached the luxurious hotel where the meeting was set, Mia's nerves flared again. "What if he is not who we think he is?" she asked, doubt creeping into her mind. "What if it's just a facade? Then we'll be prepared for that too," Jack said confidently. "But let's not forget, this is about Jaden, right? Focus on him." "Right." Jaden's name grounded her in purpose. Inside the hotel, the atmosphere was lavish, yet somehow stifling. They were directed to a private lounge, where the billionaire was already waiting. He looked every bit the part of a powerful mogul, sharp suit, perfectly groomed hair, an aura of authority that was palpable. "Mia, Jack," he greeted with a warm smile that took her by surprise. "I'm excited to learn more about your initiative for the gala. It sounds fascinating." His voice was smooth and inviting, instantly dissolving some of Mia's apprehension. They exchanged introductions, and as they began to outline their proposal, Mia saw genuine curiosity in his eyes. The conversation flowed, and soon she was sharing Jaden's story passionately, pouring the hopes and dreams they had for the gala into their meeting. Each word seemed to ignite a spark in the billionaire's expression, but then, as they delved deeper, she noticed a flicker of hesitation in his demeanor. "You must understand," he interjected softly, "supporting a cause like this goes against what most people expect from me." "Why is that?" Mia felt a tug of concern, her fervor waning slightly. He leaned back, glancing toward the window, lost in thought. "People often see past the person themselves. It's about the image they want me to uphold, not necessarily the reality of who I am." Mia felt a sudden kinship that made her heart ache. She opened her mouth, ready to defend the beauty of authenticity when Jack chimed in. "But here's the thing. Real change means being a part of something meaningful. It means overcoming what people expect and striving for what is right." The billionaire's expression shifted, a semblance of realization dawning on him. It was a moment of truth, a moment that could shift the dynamics of their entire proposition. Would he decide to step away from the shadows of expectation and embrace the chance to make a difference? As Mia searched for the resolution in his eyes, she held on to a glimmer of hope, but something else lurked in the air, a feeling of deeper challenge ahead. "I need to think this through," he finally said, the weight of his words heavier than Mia expected. Could a simple thought lead to profound transformation? Would they even get the answer they sought? The upcoming seconds felt suspended in uncertainty, leaving Mia to wonder what would unfold next. Mia's heart sank as the billionaire's words hung in the air, heavy with contemplation. She glanced at Jack, and his eyes mirrored her feelings, a mixture of confusion and desperation. The passionate pitch they had just delivered felt like it was slipping through their fingers. "Can we offer you any more information?" Jack blurted out, breaking the stillness in the room. "We're here to help." The billionaire paused, biting his lip as if weighing his next words. "It's not that I don't see the value in what you're doing. It's just," he trailed off, shifting in his seat, his gaze still distant. Mia felt a tug at her chest, her mind racing through all the obstacles they had faced to get to this point. This wasn't just about a gala. This was about changing lives. "Look," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. "We understand what it means to feel constrained by expectations. But if everyone just played it safe, nothing would change. Jaden deserves a chance, and we believe you can help him have that." The billionaire's expression flickered again, a momentary glimmer of interest flashing in his eyes. "You're right," he said slowly. "But stepping into this world, it's not as simple as it seems." "Then make it simple," Jack jumped in. "Tell us what aspect of this feels risky to you. We can adjust. We can find ways to ensure a win-win." Mia nodded, feeling the weight of the moment shift slightly. They had come this far, fueled by hope and desire to change Jaden's life. She wouldn't let this slip away just because of uncertainty. Finally, the billionaire leaned in, his entire demeanor shifting as he seemed to weigh the enormity of what they were asking. "What if I'm not enough to propel this forward? What if my involvement makes it worse?" It was a valid concern, and for an instant, Mia felt the air thicken with gravity. She took a deep breath, steeling herself. "You're not just a name. You're a person who can connect with others. Sometimes people need that push from someone they admire to see a different future." He met her gaze, and something deep within her shot forward, a belief that there was something more tangible than fear holding him back. "This isn't only about money or reputation. It's about what you can contribute to something beautiful." A long silence stretched as he absorbed her words. The world outside the window blurred, bathed in the late afternoon sun, oblivious to the monumental crossroads occurring within these walls. "Okay," he finally said, his voice softer now. "Let us say I'm willing to take that step. But I want to see concrete plans. I want numbers, goals, a roadmap." Mia fought to contain her thrill. "We can absolutely do that. We'll put everything together." As Jack and Mia exchanged gleeful glances, the billionaire's lips curled into a hesitant smile. A sense of cautious optimism filled the room, replacing the heavy air from earlier. Just then, a commotion outside caught Mia's attention. She turned to the window, and her breath hitched. A crowd had gathered outside the hotel. People were waving signs and shouting, their energy igniting a sense of urgency in her. "What is happening?" Jack asked, his excitement punctuated by curiosity. "It looks like a protest," Mia murmured, unable to tear her gaze away. The sight reminded her that while they were inside discussing grand dreams, real struggles were happening just outside. As they stepped closer to the window, the billionaire's expression shifted again, a ripple of uncertainty crossing his face. "I can't get involved in something that can result in backlash," he said, his voice tinged with worry. "But what if this is the moment to step out into the light?" Mia felt the heat of determination course through her. "What if you're exactly who they need?" She turned back to the billionaire, searching desperately for a sign that he would embrace this unexpected turn. After all, they had all the elements of change right in front of them. Could they seize the moment when it felt like the universe was pushing against them? Would the billionaire accept the challenge, stepping into his potential as an advocate for something greater? As uncertainty loomed, the room throbbed with possibility. What would he decide? The billionaire's gaze flickered between Mia and the chaotic scene outside. The crowd's passionate chants vibrated through the glass, and with each shout, Mia felt her resolve strengthen. This wasn't just a chance for them. It was a chance for everyone seeking change. Imagine this, she began, her voice rising above the noise. What if you stood in front of them, not as a distant billionaire, but as someone who genuinely cares? They don't just need money. They need to see that someone hears them, that someone believes in their fight. He hesitated, his brow furrowing with indecision. Jack stepped forward, his enthusiasm palpable. You have the platform. We can help channel this energy into something positive. We can create real solutions that resonate in the community. But what if things go wrong? The Billionaire's words came out like a whisper, almost drowned by the crowd's uproar. What if my name gets dragged through the mud? My reputation matters a lot to me, you know? Mia felt the weight of his fear. Reputation hinges on actions, not just perceptions. And sometimes, putting yourself out there is the only way to create real change. You can be that connection, the bridge between two worlds. The billionaire's eyes narrowed, processing her words. He still seemed locked in hesitation, wrestling with the risk of stepping forward. Suddenly, the loudest voice from outside broke through, shouting about justice and equality, igniting a fire in Mia. This is bigger than just us. Those people out there, they are fighting for a cause. You could be leading that fight, not just financially, but with your presence. Jack pointed to the crowd. Look at them. They're standing up for something they believe in. And isn't that exactly what we need? Someone to stand up for Jaden too. As every heartbeat pulsed in the room like a countdown, she could see a flicker of something shifting in him, the slightest crack forming in his armor. The tension felt electric. Okay, he said, at last breaking his silence. Let us say I agree. But it's not just about me. If I'm going to do this, we need a solid plan. We need a strategy that will not only engage this crowd, but also address the issues they're chanting about. Mia nodded vigorously, barely containing her excitement. We can draft a comprehensive approach. Fundraising events, awareness campaigns, direct support for the community. A roadmap that goes beyond just the gala. His expression softened, the lingering worry in his gaze replaced by a burgeoning spark of hope. And what if things don't go as planned? We adapt, Jack interjected. We learn. We keep moving forward, as long as it's for a cause that matters. The billionaire took a deep breath, letting the weight of their words wrap around him like a blanket of reassurance. All right then, let us see what kind of impact we can make together. His fragile smile began to bloom genuinely. The crowd outside erupted in cheers that echoed through the room, a wave of sound washing over them as the barrier between the inside world and the outside blurred momentarily. This was it, they were stepping into something meaningful. Let us get to work, Mia said, her heart racing. But just as they were about to gather their materials, a sudden blast of a police siren pierced the air. A chill gripped the room as the sound of officers marching toward the protest reached them. What is happening now? The billionaire's newfound enthusiasm morphed into worry again. Mia glanced out, anxiety tightening in her chest. We might be running out of time. They could disperse the crowd if things get too tense. As the officers approached, the uncertainty hung thick again, like shadows lurking in the corners of hope. Would their window of opportunity close before they even had a chance to open it? Mia looked back at the billionaire. We can't let fear control us. Let us answer their call. But just as she said this, a loud crash echoed from outside, and gasps shot through the crowd. Mia's pulse raced. What would happen next? Was the chance for change slipping away, or would they seize the moment when everything felt like it was about to spiral? Mia pushed her fear aside, feeling adrenaline flood her system. We can't wait. We have to do something now. She glanced at the billionaire, who stood frozen, uncertainty washing over his face. We can lead by example. Make them see we're united. Jack nodded, igniting the fire Mia saw in the billionaire's eyes. Let us not back down. Open that door and show them you're with them. Just then, the crowd's energy surged as a figure near the front broke through the sea of bodies, holding a vibrant sign that read, "Unity in our fight for justice." Mia's breath caught. It was Aisha, the waitress from the diner. She had always been a quiet presence, but today she stood tall, her voice ringing out with clarity. We're here demanding change. It's time for all of us to stand together. The billionaire's brow furrowed. She's amazing. How has she got that much courage? His voice was barely audible, but it was enough for Mia to sense a shift. A spark ignited in him, just as it did in her. Look at her. She's giving her all for this cause, Mia exclaimed, her hands gesturing toward the live canvas outside. Imagine the power of your support behind this. You could amplify her voice. Suddenly, another crash rang out, louder this time, followed by a wave of shouts. The crowd pressed closer, the energy palpable as their chants grew louder. We deserve justice. They punctuated each chant with claps, united and fierce. The billionaire turned back to them, his jaw set. I didn't realize how powerful connecting with people could be, he admitted. Maybe I can do this. Stand with them. Yes. Jack raised his fist in a gesture of triumph. Let us rally the troops. Let them see your commitment. Mia felt her heart race. Let us not just talk. Let us get out there. But before they moved, her thoughts flickered back to Jaden. He needed a voice, a platform that she hoped they could create together. But as they prepared to step outside, another loud pop splintered through the air, followed by a cloud of chaos. A few officers shouted commands, and panic sliced through the crowd. Don't retreat. Stand your ground. Someone yelled in defiance. Mia was torn between the instinct to shield the billionaire from danger and the call of the people outside, who needed someone to lead them right now. We can't let fear silence this moment, she shouted, locking eyes with the billionaire. For all those like Jaden who have fought so hard, we can't hesitate. In that moment, she saw something new in him, a determination that mirrored her own. Let us do this, he said, a renewed strength in his voice. Lead the way, and I'll follow. Mia opened the door, and the riot of sound flooded in. The cheers, the leaders, and the hopeful cries united them more than ever. As they stepped out into the fray, Mia's heart raced. The atmosphere was electric, but with each step, doubt crept back in. Would the billionaire really make a difference? Would they be able to challenge the narrative in that moment of chaos? Just as Mia's thoughts tangled in uncertainty, she witnessed a large group of officers advancing, batons raised, their faces stern and resolute. The tension escalated, a palpable threat growing thicker in the air. Would they manage to forge ahead without tearing apart the fragile hope they were building? As she looked back at the billionaire, who stood steadfast beside her and Jack, she knew what they were about to do could redefine everything. Or it could all collapse in an instant. Now or never, she whispered, her voice a tremble of anticipation. Suddenly, Aisha's voice rang out again, cutting through the noise with a melody of determination. We deserve to be heard. And in that piercing moment, the crowd echoed her sentiment with full force, urging them all onward, towards a future where their voices could finally break free. Could they truly face the storm together? Or was it about to unleash in ways they never anticipated? As the crowd surged like a wave, Mia felt the electricity of the moment pulse through her veins. Each cheer resonated like a heartbeat, and she could see the determination igniting around her, a fire fueled by hope and necessity. The billionaire stood firm beside her, his presence no longer just a specter of wealth, but a beacon of potential change. Let us unify their strength, Mia called out, feeling the swell of passion within her. Jack stepped forward, mirroring Mia's inspiration, his whole demeanor urging the crowd to embrace their power. This is your moment. Show them what you want, he shouted, his voice breaking through the rising tension like a lighthouse amidst fog. Mia turned her gaze back to the officers moving closer, steel resolve in their eyes. The air thickened, and fear threatened to overtake everything they had built. But within the crowd, courage bubbled to the surface and voices grew louder. Around her, she could see Aisha engaging fervently with the people, her passion a clarion call. Mia's heart swelled. Here was the embodiment of perseverance. Together, we can change our story, Aisha shouted, drawing in breath before continuing. We deserve respect, opportunities, and a future where children like Jaden can thrive. The thrumming energy surged back, carrying the weight of every struggle and every hope shared. With newfound empowerment fanning the flames of determination, Mia turned back to the billionaire at her side, conviction lighting up her voice. This isn't just about being seen or heard. It's about creating a legacy of change. If you stand with us, you won't just be supporting the gala. You will be a part of every life transformed. Suddenly, A shift occurred. The billionaire nodded, passion replacing his earlier hesitation, aligning himself with their vision. "You're right," he said, conviction emerging in his voice. "This is bigger than me. I see that now." And then it happened, the moment they all had been waiting for. The billionaire stepped forward, breaking through the ranks of fear and stepping into the light. "Let us stand together," he announced to the crowd, lifting his hands high as he drew their attention. "I want to support you, to help you amplify your voices. We'll unite our efforts to create real change." A powerful cheer erupted, echoing against the buildings around them. The officers paused, their expressions shifting as they witnessed the soul of the crowd pulsating with unity. This was more than just a protest. It was a communal bridge to understanding. Mia felt tears prick at her eyes. She was witnessing a moment of transformation, people coming together, recognizing their shared humanity. They were no longer alone. Each face lit up, fueled with fire and determination. And it dawned on her that she was not just fighting for Jaden's future. She was part of a greater cause, one that reached deeper than her own struggles. With the billionaire at their side, they formed a visible line, creating a space between the protest and the officers. Together, they stood united, a shield formed of humanity against the walls of indifference. "Listen, we want respect, we want access, and we demand the opportunity to create the lives we deserve," Jack shouted, his voice no longer filled with doubt. "We can't just be names on a report. We're real people with real dreams." And as they stood there, side by side, Mia realized something monumental. This alliance could be the thread that wove their stories together, creating a tapestry of change that was not just about one person, but about their community coming alive, tested and transformed by adversity. The atmosphere shifted, a sense of possibility igniting within every individual who witnessed this alignment of hope. Some of the officers relaxed just a bit, uncertainty mingling with what they had originally come to enforce. As the chants grew louder, merging with the powerful declaration from the billionaire, Mia knew that even amidst the chaos, something beautiful was taking shape. Hand in hand, they had created something larger than themselves. They were not just fighting against a system, but crafting a new narrative of resilience and compassion. This was, without doubt, a defining moment in their journey, a moment where fear was met with strength, and change had begun to bloom. As the fading light cast long shadows across the crowd, Mia turned to the billionaire, gratitude swelling in her chest. "Thank you for having the courage to be here, with us. I didn't realize how much I needed this," he admitted, the sincerity in his voice cracking through the weight he always carried. With hearts entwined in purpose, they stepped into the evening, knowing this was just the beginning. Each stride forward was not just for Jaden, but for every child, every single individual who dared to dream, to challenge, and to stand. Reform rippled through their community, anchored by connection and hope. So much lay ahead, but they would face it together, fortified by their collective hearts. Now, this is your moment. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and ignite more change. Leave a like now. It fuels the algorithm and helps us spread our message further. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. We can rally the community together. Don't wait, not even one more second to share. Your support makes all the difference.